Hello punters and welcome back to another Saturday racing preview where we're looking at Flemington tomorrow and also Rose Hill. Fantastic meetings, great cards to get through. Looking at Flemington, of course, we've got the weight for age Group 1 Makybe Diva Stakes over the 600 metres. Also got the Group 2 Let's Elope Stakes for the mares over 1400 metres. The Group 2 Danehill Stakes, of course, up the straight of 1200 metres. And also the Group 2 Bobby Lewis Quality, which will also be up the straight of 1200 metres. Looking over at the Rose Hill card, got some great races there. Of course, the 3-year-old run to the Rose for Group 2 level over 1200 metres. That's going to be a key form race leading into, of course, the Golden Rose in a couple of weeks. The Group 2 Theo Marks Stakes over the 1300 metres. Got the Group Fillies and Mares Group 2 Schweppes Shirako Stakes over the 1200 metres. So really got a great meeting to look forward to there. Also the 3-year-old Dozfire Stakes over 1500 metres. Can't forget that one either. So some excellent races to go around both at Flemington and at Rose Hill. Really keen to get into this Flemington card. Of course, if you haven't done so already, go check out my social media pages of _Racing Tips on Instagram and also C-Lane Racing Tips on Facebook. I've been posting a lot of tips recently during the week, and of course yesterday we were excellent at Mornington. We had 3 of 5 wins there, including Exeter, which got up at the $9.50. It was a really nice win, that one. And then Wednesday we also performed quite well as well. So we're looking forward to getting into this card, getting plenty more winners and continuing the good form. Of course, looking back at last week, got 4 out of the 9 at Moonee Valley, which was not too bad. Hoping to continue that sort of strike rate here. And I think that there's a lot of value in this card. So if we can find a couple of good roughies here, we'll be really laughing all the way to the bank ahead of this. We're well into spring now and really getting to see some good races. So we're looking forward to getting into it each and every week now. Look at the first race of the card at Flemington. Of course, just a quick update, the track at the moment is currently rated as good for fine conditions. I can't see too much rain being about, so you can definitely do your form in the with a bit of hope that there'll be with the certainty that it'll be a good 4 track. I don't think we can worry about that one too much. So first race in the card, we'll get straight into it. 2,500 metres, open handicap. Looking at the speed map here, I'd say that Harrison will get forward in the run potentially. I mean, did last time out, it was back in the field at Moonee Valley and chased on, but it also has the option to go forward as we saw last preparation. Ventura Storm might get forward. I'd say Naval Warfare will be up on the speed, and Ocean Walton might get out of the inside barrier and be closer to the speed. But for me, there's not a whole lot of speed in the race, and as such, I think if number 6 Harrison goes forward and leads, it'll get a soft lead and be very hard to beat. Based on what I saw last time out, that was a really good win. It was a really good 4th placing at Moonee Valley behind Kentucky Breeze. We know that form's really good. That horse has since come out and won last week at Moonee Valley, so the form's I think that's the right form to follow here, and I really like that run. It's a real eye-catching run. This horse is going to be much better over this distance. Of course, this is a horse that finished second in a Mornington Cup, so I mean it's a very, very good horse over 2,400 metres, and also was beaten by Villiers in a Group 3, but they clearly had an opinion to bring it to that sort of form race. But I think it could run well here, second up, based off what we saw first up at Moonee Valley. So I've got it on top at the $6.50 and $2.20 the place. And for second, number 7, King of Lear Grants, of course, was on it last week, has a 7-day backup, which I would like. Third up here, it's going to be rock hard fit, much better for the run. Looks to be looking for that sort of distance range, so I'm very confident this horse will run a good race as well. In for third, number 3, Douglas MacArthur. So I've gone the Howley pair, 1, 2, 3. Thought this horse was excellent out of that same race as King of Lear Grants behind Kentucky Breeze. So really tying up the form lines there. Third up here, again, 7-day backup as well. Pretty much a lot that what I just said for King of Lear Grants. Be looking for this sort of distance range and it'll be much improved off the run. Interestingly, Ben Mellon is generally the Williams go-to jockey. He has chosen to go with Douglas MacArthur. That's an interesting move there. You might want to keep an eye on that one, or take from that whatever you might. And in for fourth, number 5, Alfred Sue. I thought was look, I did have last time out at Caulfield. It was beaten fair and square by another Coldy, but on that occasion, another Coldy just really took Alfred's run, held it up, and Alfred just then had to wait, get to the outside, build up the momentum again, and then get going. By that time, another Coldy was off and gone. It was never going to chase it down. So I'm not saying if I had the run, it would have beaten it, but it would have gone a lot better. So I think that this horse third up now will be much improved. Out to the better track. It'll appreciate running at Flemington. I've got no doubt about that. So I've got to have that horse in for fourth. So recapping the numbers on race number 1 at Flemington. Getting ahead of myself a bit there. Race number 1. Number 6, Harrison on top at the $6.50 and $2.20 the place. In for second, number 7, King of Leogrants. In for third, I like number 3, Douglas MacArthur. And in for fourth, number 5, Alfred. And I've got a bit of a watch on number 8, Caliburn. This horse is for Jamie Richardson. He's taken it straight from the UK. He's brought it straight over here for a staying race. So I'm got a bit of interest in it. I'm not sure if it'll win first up. I mean, you've got to take a bit of caution with that, but it's definitely well in the market. And the fact that it's first up in Australia says it must have a bit of ability. And there's some supporters out there who must be backing it. So a bit of interest there with that one. Of course, Ventura Storm links over the odds. He can improve greatly. We know his best form is definitely good enough to win something like this. It's just a bit of an if. He obviously doesn't win out of turn. But so it's a really open race to start the card, but happy to beat Harrison on top. Race number 2, another very open race here, over 1,100 metres. Look at the speed map here. I'd say that an absolute flirt. Don't Tell the Boss will get forward. Needorp, the Queensland galloper for Tony Golan, will be forward. The other Queensland galloper for Tony Golan, Vincero Velozzi, will be getting forward. So Evening Slippers will be up there. Way Up in the Sky, Normal Stars might get forward as well. But so quite a bit of speed in the race. And such, I do think that number 6 in the Edwards Crown is massively over the odds. I mean, I know it's perhaps having a little bit of a step up in class to some of these, but last time out it was only beaten a length by Exhilarates. That was last week. It's backing up into this race. It's got form up the straight. It's won here at this distance range, so I really like that. And I think that experience up the straight is vital in races like this. So I'm really going to have a bit of an each-way play. Brett Preble gets back into the saddle, of course, after serving his suspension on Kentucky Breeze a few weeks ago at Moonee Valley. He's going to be giving it everything. I just think it's a great each-way odds to take. In the second, number 3, A Theory. Definitely has some great form lines coming in here from New South Wales. Looking at first up in its prep, of course, in the Rosebud, where it finished behind Dawn Passage on that occasion. Only 1.1 lengths off that. That horse is flying. Then after that, it finished 5th in a Group 3 at Randwick behind True Detective. And there wasn't really many horses coming out from the back there, so this horse was pretty well disadvantaged in that race, but I still thought it was a good run. Third up here, it's going to be much improved. Expect a really good showing. I mean, this horse that was absolutely one of the better 2-year-olds in that in the 2-year-old season earlier this year, so got to have a lot of respect for it. And Craig Williams in the saddle, I think it's massive overs as well. In for third, number 2, Absolute Flirt for Damien Oliver and Danny O'Brien. They've been flying that combination recently. Last time out at Caulfield, it was beaten 1.5 lengths by Exhilarates. So, as I mentioned, similar form lines to that of St Edward's Crown. St Edward's Crown was only a length off Exhilarates last start. So, very interesting. I think that's the right form line. I think Exhilarates is a very good horse. So I'm happy to take Absolute Flirt in for third. Then in for fourth, I do like the chances of number 10, Way Up in the Sky. It's been pretty well supported coming down for the Snowdens. It was pretty good first up at Newcastle over the 900 metres. Thought it might have been a bit sharp for it there, but it really did enough to get over the line and gets out to that 1100 metres now, which I think is going to be much better for it. Obviously, last prep was finished behind Tenley in a Group 2, then beat Bardia in a good maiden race there at Warwick Farm over the 1100 metres. I think this horse is well on the market. It would be a big danger to some of these out the front. Of course, mentioning there's a lot of horses in this that I'm forgetting, but it's a very open race once again. But I'm pretty confident with the chances of number 6, Edwards Crown. I think this horse has a bit of ability, and we're going to get a big price, $11 and $3.60 for a horse that was only a length off Exhilarates, while the favourite, Absolute Flirt, was 1.5 in a race prior. I think that's really good odds to take. So I'm happy to have it on top to beat number 3, A Theory. As mentioned, bringing great form lines from New South Wales in for second. In for third, number 2, Absolute Flirt. And in for fourth, number 10, Way Up in the Sky. Moving on to race number 3, over 400 metres for the 3-year-olds here. Look at the speed map in this race. I'd say that Legionnaire, La Ten, and Lady Lupino will get forward. Snap Dance might get forward, Hinch and Pin, but for me, it doesn't look to be a whole lot of speed on paper, so I'd be interested to see what some of these inside horses do, because all of them are drawn to get back, but I don't know if they all will want to, so one of them might boot up and I get surprised a little bit and get forward in the race. But based off what I see on paper, I think number 12, La Ten, will be really hard to beat. There's massive overs in this race. This is a horse that won the size produce last preparation, of course, Group 2 level, beat Darlington on that occasion. We know how good that sort of form is. I mean, the form of that side produce has been pretty good, actually. I mean, a lot of people weren't sure about the strength of it, but it's really proven to be a good race to follow. I mean, Darlington, of course, beat a Group 1 winner in Scars of Justice, who, of course, we'll see both of them go around later in the card. So I think that form is quite good. I thought La Ten was excellent first up at Moonee Valley over the shorter distance. It's up to that 1400 metres now. I think it's going to be much improved off of that run. And I like to have it on top. They're not really nice odds as well. I mean, $8 and $2.80 the place is very nice odds to take. So happy to have it on top ahead of Missile Mantra in for second, who they overdo it out front. This horse will be coming on late. It's never seen the 400 metres before, but I think this horse will relish it. Gets a big track, which is really going to suit her down to the ground. Its run last preparation at Caulfield was absolutely tremendous. I mean, if it repeats that sort of run, it'll be really hard to beat. And first up, this prep was very good coming to the line at Caulfield. I thought it was a really good run, and it's a horse that's screaming out for the extra distance in the big track. So it'll be charging on late. So I've got her in for second, in for fourth. Sorry, in for third. Sorry, I'm up to. In for third. Sorry, I've got number 11, Tenley, who again is a very nice horse. It was a pretty good first up performance where it finished fifth on that occasion. Second up here, it's going to be much improved. And this horse showed us last preparation, the 2-year-old season, that it has a lot of ability. Blinkers come off first time, which is an interesting gear change there. Sorry, that fifth as well, by the way, was at Randwick behind Libertini and Flit. So it was a little bit disappointing on that occasion, but I think that's really good form to be taken to this race. So I expect a better showing, especially in the bigger track. I think this is a horse that will relish running on the bigger track at Flemington as well. And then in for fourth, number 14, Lady Lupino. I mean, Damien Oliver jumped off this horse last time out. It was really well supported in the market at Moonee Valley, and just said that it was way too sharp and was definitely going to be much better further into the preparation. I think second up here we could see a much better improvement, especially if there's not a whole lot of speed in the race, which on paper there doesn't look to be. Other horses I've left out, look, I can make a case for Vegas Knight. I think he can run a good race. Sage Shopmaker could probably improve off that first up run. Independent Road is one that's well over the odds. If it repeats a similar run to what it ran last time out at Flemington, where obviously it was over 400 metres and it powered over the top of them and won. If it can get that similar run, it'll be much better. And the jockey last time out at Moonee Valley did say that it just didn't appreciate the track at Moonee Valley and be much better at a track like Caulfield or Flemington. So bigger track, we can see a bit of improvement out of that horse as well. But recap the numbers in race number 3. I do like number 12, La 10 on top at the nice each way odds there. To beat number 13, Missile Mantra, and for second, and for third, number 11, Tenley, and then for fourth, number 14, Lady Lupino. Race number 4 of the card at Flemington is, of course, over 400 metres. It's the Let's Elope. This is the Sofitel listed race. And it's look at the speed map here. I'd say that Rocks the Castle will get forward from the outside barrier with Craig Williams in the saddle. I'd say Romance will kick up off the inside barrier. I'd say Chester will get forward. Longleaf won't be too far behind. I'd say Traven, my friend, will be the other one that'll be towards the speed. It's a little bit of speed in this race, and look, even if they don't go out too hard, I think this horse is extremely hard to beat, and it's right down the bottom of the weights. It's number 14, Tarwin. This horse showed his ability last preparation with some sensational wins at the back end of autumn at Caulfield over the 1,440 metres, and of course the mile distance range. I think this horse is just massive odds. I mean, $7 is really generous for this sort of horse, and I think he'll relish running at Flemington. Gets the bigger track, gets plenty of time to wind up, get through his gears, and I think he can finish well over the top of this field as he goes on to bigger and better things this preparation. Right down the bottom of the weights as well, very appealing. I'm happy to have him on top at $8 and $2.80 the place. In for second, I like number 10, Rocks the Castle, who, if it gets across and gets an easy time to speed, which I don't think it will, but really got to respect the sort of form lines. I mean, last prep it beat Boom Horse, Jumbo Zaki at Sandown. I think that's going to be a good form race going forward. Prior to that, it was second by an Age of Chivalry, and we know that form is very good. Age of Chivalry came out 2 weeks ago at Caulfield and won. So form's really nice for Rocks the Castle. Just has to navigate barrier 14. That's the only concern here with that horse. In for third, number 12, Chester, I thought was really good first up when it finished fourth on that occasion. It'll be up on the pace. Second up's going to be much improved. Of course, that first up run was at Caulfield over 1,200 metres behind Dawn. I thought it was a great run. This is a horse that contests some really good races in the Queensland Carnival and was probably not really suited to running on the heavier tracks there. It comes back on top of the ground at Flemington. I think to see a big improvement for this horse in for third. And then in for fourth, I can make a bit of a case for number 8, Tribal Wisdom, who I mean, look, its first 2 runs this prep haven't been fantastic, but it's still hard in the market. And third up here, it's going to be much improved. Comes back on top of the ground. Comes to Flemington, which I think this horse will relish. Getting the big track, gets the chance to get through his gears. Dwayne Dunn in the saddle. I've just seen this horse come out and win these sort of races at the big odds from time to time, so I wouldn't want to leave him out if you're playing quaddies or first fours. So recapping the numbers on race number 4 of the card, I'm very keen on number 14, Tarwin on top at the nice each way odds. In for second, number 10, Rocks the Castle. In for third, number 12, Chester. And for fourth, I like the chances of number 8, Tribal Wisdom. Moving on into race number 5 of the card, and this is over when it comes to load for me. It's the first of our group races of the day, the Danehill Stakes, over 1,200 metres. Looking at the speed map here, of course, up the straight, so keep that in mind. And the speed map of the race, we're going to have Yulong Savings up on pace. So Darlasan, well, interestingly with Darlasan, did get back in its run last preparation, and also first up this prep where it beat Scales of Justice at Morphettville, it was back in the field. So it'll be interesting to see if it goes forward, but Sebricate will definitely be up there. Express Pass from the 2 outside barriers, they'll be towards the speed. So quite a bit of, probably not a whole lot of speed really for a 1,200 metre race. But I do think that number 5, Darlasan, he just looks so hard to beat. Very good first up win, beating Scales of Justice. That's really superior form to what a lot of these carry. Of course, Scales of Justice goes around later on the card with some real good hopes. So I'd say that that's really good form to carry into this, and it's been pretty well backed in early markets as well. So I really do take a bit out of that. Moving into for second, I do like the chances of Sebricate. If they leave it alone out in front, it'll be really hard to catch. I thought its run last time out was really eye-catching. Hit the line extremely well. It was pretty unlucky on that occasion as well. This is a horse that has won before at Flemington, so it's a track specialist. Has run up the straight before and won. So really do like those chances. And, of course, the horse that it was finished in behind, Super Seth, number 4, he'll run well again. He'll appreciate coming second up onto a big track. He's run up the straight before. Sorry, not up the straight, but he ran at Flemington before and he failed on that occasion. It was over 400 metres, but I think that he's definitely a sprinter, so he goes in for third. Then in for fourth, I make a bit of a case for number 3, Strasbourg, who's really trialled up nicely coming to this. Its last trial was horrific. This horse, of course, won beating a session up at Eagle Farm over 400 metres, so it'll definitely get better over further. It's got superior form to some of these, but I do want to give it a bit of a chance here. We'll be flashing home late and getting for fourth. So recap the numbers on race number 5. Do like number 5's Darlasan on top of the $2.80. In for second, number 8 Sebricate. In for third, number 4 Super Seth. And in for fourth, number 3 Strasbourg. Moving into race number 6, it's the Group 2 Let's Elope Stakes for the mares over the 400 metres. Looking at the speed map here, I'd say that Spanish Reef will get forward off the inside barrier. Say Spanish Whisper won't be far off in barrier 4. Fundamentalist will roll to the front, and Birdie will probably go forward. And Miss Siska, we've seen show a bit of speed from trials and last preparation. So could be a little bit of speed in the race, but also they could slacken it off and really give these back markers a bit something to chase down. But for me, based off the speed map, I think number 6 Fundamentals to be really hard to beat. He's coming out of a weight for age Group 1 Memsey Stakes last time out, where he finished 9th on that occasion behind Scars of Justice, 5.9 lengths. Prior to that, he was 3.5 lengths behind Be Good to Your Mother. But I think third up here is going to be much improved. This is a horse that was only beaten 0.1 length by Nikita Jane and was beaten 0.2 length by the Autumn Sun over the mile last prep, really deep into its preparation. And then was also beaten here at the track over 400 metres in a Group 3 behind Amphitrite. So I think this horse will be much improved. $5.50 in Charles a place for a horse that will be on speed. Pretty hard to chase down, I think, is a pretty good bet to take. So I'm going to have it on top to beat number 2, Spanish Whisper, who will also be towards the speed. Was really good last time out behind Pippi. Really came to the line well. Second up stats are good. It's had 3 starts second up for a win and 2 placings, which both those were seconds. It won here last prep. Second up at Flemington, 400 metres. It was a Fillies Group 2 race there, and it won that. So it really appeals nicely. This horse, number 2, Spanish Whisper at the each way odds as well. In for third, number 9, Fidelia. Well, we know what she can do. She was absolutely terrific as well in that Pippi race. Second up here comes to Flemington. Never lost at the track from its 3 runs. So she's going to be a major player. She's going to be thundering home late, as we always know. She'll be in the placings. And then in for fourth, I do think number 7, My Pendant, can't be left out either. Has been in terrific form as of late. Beat Kamel last time out at Caulfield. Know if that's the right form coming to this, but this horse has proven at Flemington as well. It's obviously its first 2 runs of the preparation. It finished second to Sylvia's Mother, then came out one nicely, beating Special Diva right on the line there. So this horse will be well in the finish again as well. So recap the numbers of race number 6. Number 6, Fundamentalist for me on top. To beat number 2, Spanish Whisper in for second. In for third, number 9, Fidelia. In for fourth, number 7, My Pendant, in a fantastic race. Of course, missing out on Princess Jenny. I just think she's obviously going to be looking for a whole lot further than 1,400 metres. So be waiting to sit back and watch her first up and see how she runs, and back her next time round. Another horse I don't mind the chance of is Spanish Reef on inside barrier, but I'm pretty confident the top 4. I think they will be the top 4 in the finish. Hopefully they're in order as well, and we have fundamentalists come out on top. Moving on to race number 7, here's our feature of the day, the weight for age Group 1 Makybe Diva Stakes over the 600 metres. Look at the speed map here. I'd say Scales of Justice will go to the front. Rostopovich will probably get forward maybe. Hartnell will be towards the speed. And Galo Shop will be up there as well. So not a whole lot of speed in this race. And as such, it really does make it interesting to see if any of these will I guess, press the button and go forward and try and steal a bit of a break. But for me, based off what I've seen off the speed map, I do think that, look, I mean, it should be hard to beat Mystic Journey, but I just can't back her at the $2. For me, I thought number 7, Kingswood Dreams runs first up was terrific, and I want to have a go at him at the $17 each way. He was fantastic. He got out late, really charged home behind Samadout and Avilius. We've seen that form stand up. Obviously, Samadout won last week in another Group 1. Avilius ran well in that race as well, but despite being 3 wide, no cover. This horse second up is great. 3 starts, a win and 2 placings. Loves running at Flemington. Never missed a place here at the track. 4 starts for 2 wins, 2 placings. Last preparation, I mean, it was only 0.2 lengths behind Humidor in a Group 1 at Caulfield, second up over 400 metres. Then it was beaten 2 lengths by Grunt in a Group 1 there. Beaten 1.8 lengths by Winks here at the track over 2,000 metres. I mean, you really can't get much better form than that. Now, I know that he pulled up and had his issues after the Cox Plate, but that first up run, he's flying, and he's $18 and $4 the place. I'll just have to back him. That is ridiculous odds, and I'm going to have him on top for me to beat number 13, Mystic Journey, she's an absolute bona fide superstar. I've no doubt about that, and that was a terrific win first up. But for me, $2 is just very short and what's a very good field. She's got to prove it now. It's a proper weight for age Group 1 race, something that she hasn't contested before. Of course, she has won a Group 1, and she's won a weight for age before. She's, of course, won the Guineas, and she also won the All-Star Mile here at Flemington. But she's really going to have to prove it against real proven weight for age performers here. So I've got her for second, but for me, $2 I couldn't touch. In for third, bit of an interest here in number 9, Yucatan. I think it'll need the run first up and probably looking for 2,000 metres. But we know his ability. He has so much talent and so much ability. And I think he'll be running onto the line late in this race. And in for fourth, I think number 1, Hartnell, he's well over the odds. I mean, this is a horse that really misses a place. He comes to Flemington, third up here, rock hard fit. He'll run well again as well. Look, you can make a lot of cases for a lot of others. Say Night's Watch was pretty good first up by an Age of Chivalry, and second up coming to Flemington, bigger track, he'll be much better, but I'm waiting for him to get maybe third up, and just I think there's not a lot of speed in this race. He'll have to be very good to come from the back and win. Another one I'm interested, of course, Mr. Quickie, of course, we'll be looking for further, but interested to see how he runs. Rostopovich, a lot of great interest in this race. Humidor, I mean, we saw what he can do when he goes out at big odds. He sometimes comes out and blouses the field and wins these sorts of races, but I'm interested to see him second up as well. But recap the numbers. Number 7, Kingswood Dream on top for me. Massive overs, big odds. In for second, number 13, Mystic Journey. In for third, number 9, Yucatan. And in for fourth, number 1, Hartnell. Race number 8, it's the Group 2 Bobby Lewis quality over 1,200 metres up the straight. Look at the speed map here. So Streets of Avalon and Parsifal will go forward. Dothraki will be up towards the speed. Rebel King, Malibu Style on Wesley Saiti. So a bit of speed in this race, which makes it very interesting. But I do think the chances of number 11, Demerara, look quite appealing to me. I thought she's been trialling up really well leading into this. She, of course, beat Callista up at the Gold Coast before being spelled. she's got a fantastic fresh record, 6 starts for 5 wins. I mean, yeah, that's very good, isn't it? So, I mean, I've got to have her on top. $5 and $2.10 the place. Looks really nice for me to take. Number 11, number 1, Dothraki on top at the $11. Got it eventually. He's won here before at Flemington. His first up run was not too bad behind Deprive, 1.1 lengths. Deprive was not too bad last week at Moonee Valley. Second up stats are good. 14 starts second up for 4 wins and 7 placings. He's only ever missed a placing 3 times out of his 14 second up runs. So I'm sure he'll be in the finish. Number 2, Makybe Style. He doesn't usually miss a place either, and he loves running here at Flemington. Very good last time out behind Sosa Bond in the Aries Star Handicap. Haven't seen him since, but I'm sure he'll run a good race once again. So I've got him in for 3rd. And in for 4th, if they run too hard out front, number 14, Usain Bola, he'll be charging home late. He was not too bad last time out behind Tavasan. He steps up in class here, but he contested sort of Group 1 race in last preparation when he got further into his prep. So, they have thrown him into the deep end before. Albeit he didn't perform, but he can step up this sort of class and run well. So I'm thinking that if they do overdo it, he'll be charging home late. But recap the numbers on race number 8. I really do like the chances here of number 11, Demerara on top, carrying only the 53 kilos of Craig Williams in the saddle. In for second, number 1, Dothraki. In for 3rd, number 2, Malibu Style. And then in for 4th, number 14, Usain Bola. Move on to the last race of the card, over 700 metres, open handicap, Val Russell Cameron, rest in peace, great man. Hopefully he was a great trainer, will leave a great legacy on the racing industry, and very sad of his passing. Look at the speed in this race, I'd say Flying Sardine, Tarquin, Royal Ace and Material Man might get forward, but there's not really a lot of speed in this race, and it makes it pretty hard to, judge on what will win the race, really. But for me, I do think the chances of number 14, Hangman, as long as he doesn't get too far back, I think he'll run well. I thought he was okay first up behind Age of Chivalry. He really got to line well. He's going to appreciate the step up in distance. He goes from 400 metres up to the 700. He'll appreciate the big track. I've been waiting for him to come back this prep. So as long as he doesn't get too far back, he'll be charging home late. And at $8.50 and $2.90, he looks a good bet. Number 15, Royal Ace. Well, look, they leave this horse line in front. He'll prove something to catch. He was disappointing last time out at Moonee Valley, but prior to that, he beat Humboldt Current here at Flemington. So he comes back to this track, which he'll massively appreciate. Linda Meach in the saddle. So once again, if she gets her own terms out front, she'll be very hard to run down. We know that as a fact. In for 3rd, number 6, Captain Cook. He's shown a lot of ability in his 2 Australian race starts. He was very good behind Super Titus last time out. And then prior to that was beaten by Guizzo. So I think that form is quite good. We'll appreciate being 3rd up here. Be much fitter for the run. And it will run a good race as well. In for 4th, number 1, Material Man, who I thought was, obviously, it's coming out of a Memsey Stakes last time out. Was 100 to 1 there. Was a little bit disappointing. But prior to that, was not too bad up the straight behind Sosa Bond. 3rd up here. Steps out in distance, which will be much more beneficial. Never placed the track, but I think if they leave a lane out front, Damien Lane in the saddle. The fact that they've gone with him with the 61.5 kilos does interest me quite a bit. So there's a lot of interest in this race as well. I mean, got Dal Harold, who I've got a massive opinion of. He'll be better over further. Interesting how he runs first up. You got Glory Days, who's first up here in Australia, coming across from Japan. Not Japan, from New Zealand. Sorataki, for some reason, just went to Japan, but New Zealand. Another horse that's Spanish Steps, of course, for Liam Howley. Glenn Mellum in the saddle. Of course, this is second race start in Australia, so there's a lot of interest in this race. But for me, I'd rather go with the horses that are up and about in it. So number 14, Hangman on top. In for 2nd, number 15, Royal Ace. In for 3rd, number 6, Captain Cook. And in for 4th, number 13, Mosh Music. Not Material Man. Number 13, Mosh Music, who I thought was pretty good first up at Moonee Valley. Of course, finished 5th there behind Romance. It'll be much better second up and stepping up in distance. So I'd see a improved run there. So that's my the feature. That's me looking at the card tomorrow, Makybe Diva Stakes. Looking at my best bets of the whole card, I'd say, just looking back on it now, race number 4, race number 5, number 5, Dalasan is one of my best bets of the card at $2.80. I think it'd be really hard to beat. Another one who I think's going to be hard to beat is number Race number 8, number 11, Demerara at the $5, $2.10 the place, but still I'm going to make it a best bet. Good each way plays for me. Race number 7, Kingswell Dream at the $18 and $4 the place. I think is a very good each way play. A horse that loves the track. Another one who I think is a nice each way play is race number 4, number 14, Tarwin at the $7 and $2.50 the place. So that's my best bets and best each way plays. That's my full preview of the card at Flemington. Stay tuned for my Rose Hill feature meeting preview and all the tips there. Good luck if you follow. As I mentioned, go check out the social media pages. Good luck if you're having a punt tomorrow, and hopefully make plenty of profit.